This is Jason Wagner from the Wagner Oehler Law Firm. Today we're talking about how to make sure your kids don't fight when you're gone. Do you care? I hear it often from clients, I'll be dead, what do I care? Or I think my kids get along well, I don't expect there to be any problems. Unfortunately, it's my job to make sure that we do anticipate problems, even when you think there might not be any. All too often we see that when we're not expecting problems, one comes up. So what do we do? Well, number one, if there are problems, we need to know about that ahead of time. Is there a potential for one of your children to be divorced? Do they have an ex-spouse that might cause problems, or a current spouse that might cause problems? Are there creditor issues, or are there issues with judgments? Do we have concerns that somebody may have drug or alcohol issues? These are some of the common ones, but most often it's something that's more of a softer issue, just conflict or lack of communication. Um, it may be that your children haven't had to deal with something cooperatively in a very long time, if ever. And so if we're asking them now to administer an estate, which may be made up of a lot of different types of assets, on top of all of the emotions that they're dealing with after the loss of a parent, it can be quite a challenge. So often we like to make sure that we're utilizing the best tools that we have available for the estate plan to make sure that we're minimizing the potential for conflict. Usually this is through a form of a trust, but beneficiary designations that are very clearly set up can help as well. In Minnesota, we do have something called a transfer on death deed. That is a tool that allows us to essentially put a beneficiary designation on real estate. They're a wonderful tool when they're used in the right circumstance. When they're used in the wrong circumstance, such as when we have 3, 4, 5 kids listed on there that don't get along well, or even if they do get along well, maybe their spouses don't, it can lead to some pretty serious problems. So we want to make sure that when we're approaching anybody's estate plan, that we're really looking into some of the harder issues of the family dynamics to make sure that we're making a good recommendation that we think is going to be a good fit for you now, but also more importantly, when you're gone. So those are some of the things we're looking at from the estate planning perspective on the approach we're taking, what type of plan we're putting together. Other videos I talk about potentially naming a professional trustee. That can help eliminate some of that conflict, take some of that burden away from the kids. There's also some provisions you can put into the trust, make it very clear who's getting what. You can also put in why. We sometimes use what's called a no contest clause. It essentially says if you are going to try to contest this or disrupt the plan of distribution that mom and dad have put together, you just don't get anything. It's a blunt instrument, but it works a lot of the times. And it's just another tool in that toolbox that we have to look at when we're putting that estate plan together. So just some of the things to consider. You can follow us more on YouTube and subscribe, and check out our website at wagnerlegalmn.com.